Imagine a man, seemed totally ordinary. A filmmaker getting started, a husband, a father, but he harbored this terrifying secret, an obsession so dark, so all-consuming. It led him down this path of just real-life horror. And his inspiration, it's chilling, really, a fictional TV character. Today we're doing a deep dive into the disturbing double life of Mark Twitchell. We'll explore how what maybe started as a fascination, with a TV show, could twist into a blueprint for, unspeakable crimes. So, Mark Twitchell. He was born July 4th, 1979 in Edmonton, Canada. His family seemed pretty typical. His dad, Norman, was a maintenance mechanic. His mom, Mary, a graphic designer. He had a sister, Susan. You look at it from the outside, and it seems like a totally stable, even loving home. But from a really young age, Mark was just captivated by films and TV, especially horror, sci-fi, fantasy. And Star Wars was huge for him, like foundational, this passion. It fueled this big dream. He wanted to be a Hollywood director, making blockbusters just like George Lucas. He really craved that fame.
And it's often, fascinating, isn't it? How a deep creative passion, something we usually see as positive, can sometimes curdle. When it combines with certain personality traits, maybe a lack of empathy, this drive can become tangled up with needing recognition, and the lines between fantasy and reality start to get dangerously blurry.
Yeah, and you start to see some worrying signs pretty early with Mark. He did pursue the dream, studied radio and television arts, graduated in 2000. But even back in college, people described him as withdrawn, not many friends, kind of unreliable, always making excuses, dodging obligations. Does that pattern mean something?
Oh, absolutely. That kind of chronic irresponsibility, the disregard for expectations, that's a red flag. It suggests someone who puts their own fantasies way ahead of real-world commitments. It's often a sign of personality patterns that can, precede bigger behavioral problems. It's not just forgetfulness. It feels more calculated.
Calculated manipulation definitely showed up in his first marriage. In 2000, he met Megan Shella online, plentyoffish.com. She was drawn in by his smarts, his charm, apparently. They got married in 2001, but it fell apart fast. Megan found out he was manipulative, unfaithful, constantly lied about everything, even small stuff like bills. And weird things too, like making fake female profiles on dating sites to talk to other men, multiple affairs. So yeah, no surprise they divorced in 2005, only 4 years. After that, Mark heads back to Edmonton, and his focus shifts, becomes totally intense on this fan-made Star Wars film. Secrets of the Rebellion, he called it. He poured all his energy into the script, the storyboards. He just completely blew off his actual job selling alarm systems. Really seemed to believe this fan film was his big break. Then in 2007, he remarries, this time to Jess. They have a daughter, Chloe, pretty quickly. You'd think maybe having a family would ground him, right? But no, his obsession with the film project just got stronger. Against Jess's wishes, her worries about money, he actually quit his job, lied, said he needed to focus on finding investors. And then he starts using money he got from friends and family for the film to just pay their living expenses. He'd lie about meetings, hide out at his parents' place.
And what's really unsettling there is how that creative ambition, completely disconnected from reality, from responsibility, it just spirals. It becomes desperate, deceptive, almost predatory actions, really. It points to a profound lack of connection to consequences. His story, his success narrative, was way more important than anyone around him. That often shows a real lack of insight.
So the Star Wars thing, it fizzles out, doesn't get traction. Mark just pivots, shifts to thrillers. In 2008, he makes the short film House of Cards. And the plot is, disturbingly prescient. A serial killer lures victims online, then dismembers them, graphically. And to film it, he rents a garage for a studio. And this is chilling. He actually sent letters to the neighbors, told them not to worry if they heard screaming, because it was just for his film, literally telling them to ignore potential real cries for help. It's around this time that Mark becomes completely obsessed with the TV show Dexter. He idolized Dexter Morgan, right? The blood spatter guy who's secretly a vigilante serial killer targeting other killers. Mark apparently watched every episode, just soaked it all in. It seems like he saw it less as fiction and more like a how-to guide. His short film, House of Cards, was directly inspired by Dexter, obviously. But his fascination went way beyond just inspiration. He started wanting to make these dark film fantasies real. He wanted to be Dexter, so he reactivates those fake female profiles on Plenty of Fish. But this time, the intent was purely evil. He creates Sheena, 24, blonde hair, blue eyes, specifically designed to lure men to their deaths. His first target, Gilles Tetreault, 37, American, just moved to Canada, looking for a fresh start, a relationship. They connect online. Mark, as Sheena, really reels him in. Now, his wife, Jess, she actually finds out he's back on the dating site. Mark, smooth as ever, claims it's just research for a script about online dating. And while she maybe accepted it initially, it caused a huge rift. They start sleeping in separate rooms, Mark down in the basement. Jess even suggested therapy. He just brushed it off. Had to maintain the illusion, right? So Mark plans his first actual, real-life Dexter killing, meticulously. Sets up a movie date with Gilles, tells him to come to his apartment, which is really the rented garage studio. Tells him to come in through the garage, October 3rd, 2008, 7 p.m. Mark has turned the garage into this kill room setup. Plastic sheeting on tables, walls, green tarp on the floor. He's hiding behind curtains, armed with a fake gun, a movie prop taser, and a metal pipe. He lied to Jess, said he was going to therapy that night. Gilles arrives, totally unaware, excited to finally meet Sheena. He hadn't told anyone about the date, felt kind of embarrassed about meeting someone online. He walks straight into it. Gilles steps into the garage. Mark ambushes him from behind, hockey mask on. Hits him, tasers him. Gilles realizes instantly this is bad, this is a trap. A desperate fight breaks out. Gilles manages to get out of the garage, but Mark chases him, waving the fake gun, ordering him to comply. Gilles pleading, offering his car, his wallet. Mark tapes his mouth shut, but Gilles fights back, hard, rips the tape off, bristles the gun away, and realizes it's fake, a prop. That seems to give him new strength. They're fighting out in the street now, and then just at that moment, a couple walks by, sees the struggle. Gilles screams for help. Mark panics, rips off his mask, and immediately shifts gears. Pretends they're just friends having a fight. The couple, well, they seem uncomfortable. They decide not to get involved. They just walk away. It's almost unbelievable, isn't that? Close call. You'd think anyone would be terrified, would stop. But not Mark Twitchell. He just keeps going. What does that tell us?
It really speaks volumes about how deep the fantasy ran, how disconnected he was. For someone like Twitchell, being interrupted wasn't really a deterrent. It was just a glitch in the plan, something to fix for next time. And that quick change from attacker to friend, that shows a really chilling adaptability, that social cunning you sometimes see. The failure wasn't a moral wake-up call for him. It was purely technical.
So Mark, maybe rattled but not stopped. He flees. Drives home to Jess and Chloe, acts like nothing happened. Gilles, totally shaken, also goes home. He doesn't call the police. Too embarrassed, apparently, about the whole online dating setup. But despite that first attempt failing, Mark is completely undeterred. His ambition to be a real serial killer like Dexter, it just gets stronger. He starts keeping this diary. Calls it SK Confession. SK for serial killer, writing detailed entries about his progress. The first line, reportedly, was something like, "This is a story about my progress as a serial killer. Like others training new skills, I must experience trial and error." He's documenting it like learning a craft. So for his next victim, he makes a new fake profile. Jen, 30s, dark brown hair, connects with Johnny Altinger, 38 years old from Whitecourt, looking for a serious relationship after a breakup. They chat online for a bit, Mark, as Jen sets up a meeting, same garage studio, October 10th, 2008, 7 p.m. But this time, crucially, Johnny tells a friend about the deed and shares the address. That becomes incredibly important later. Johnny actually shows up early, like 45 minutes early. Catches Mark totally off guard, still setting things up. Mark has to think fast, improvises. Tells Johnny Jen isn't there yet, says he's just setting up a film studio. Johnny leaves, but Mark, pretending to be Jen, texts him an apology, convinces him to come back. When Johnny returns to the garage, Mark gives him no chance, immediately hits him over the head with the metal pipe. Johnny cries out. Mark hits him again, then he stabs him, multiple times, stomach and throat. Johnny Altinger bleeds to death right there. After the murder, Mark dismembers Johnny's body. Chillingly following scenes from Dexter. Puts the body parts in garbage bags. Tries to clean up with ammonia, but apparently blood spatters were still left. He disposes of some parts in a storm drain, burns others. Cleans himself up, changes clothes, goes home to his family. Acts completely normal.
And this is where you really see that escalation from fantasy into almost ritualized behavior, the methodical nature of it all, the crime, the cleanup, clearly planned to mimic the show. It just highlights this terrifying detachment from reality. It wasn't just about killing, it was about performing the fantasy, like directing his own twisted scene. That SK Confession diary is grim proof of this self-styled performance.
Right. And in that diary, his entry about this murder, he actually notes that for next time, he needs to use better quality plastic and make sure it covers the entire room to make cleanup easier. It's just so cold, like a technical review. To cover his tracks further, Mark goes to Johnny's apartment, steals his laptop, starts impersonating him, sends emails to Johnny's friends, family, saying he'd suddenly eloped to Costa Rica with Jen, be gone for months, sends an email to Johnny's work too, resigning for him. But Johnny's friends, they immediately find this suspicious. It was totally out of character for him. They try calling, can't reach him, they report him missing. At first the police kind of dismiss it, think maybe he really did just take off. But his friends don't give up. They go to his apartment, find it messy, dishes unwashed, all his luggage, clothes, passport still there. They take this proof back to the police. And that's when a full investigation finally kicks off. Their persistence was absolutely key. Police trace Johnny's last known movements right to Mark's rented garage. October 18th, they contact Mark. He admits renting the garage, sure, but denies ever seeing Johnny. Denies knowing anyone named Jen. Claims he wasn't even there after October 10th. When police go check out the garage, they immediately notice this strong chemical smell. See a big table, lots of cleaning supplies, and they find a receipt. Plastic sheeting, gloves, tissues, cleaning stuff, dated October 15th, paid for with a credit card. Back during questioning, they checked Mark's credit card. It matches the one on the receipt, directly contradicts his story about not being there since the 10th. Suddenly, Mark is the prime suspect. But he keeps denying everything, even starts boasting to the police about his film project, almost arrogant about it. He changes his story a bit, admits maybe being there 2 or 3 days after October 10th just to drop off cleaning supplies, which police find odd, right? His home's way across town. Then he lists props he kept there. Fake gun, knife, metal pipe, duct tape, eerily matching the weapons involved. Police confront him. Missing person, last seen at the exact location where you're filming a murder thriller. It's a bit much, isn't it? Mark acts surprised. Even suggests maybe the guy who changed the lock on the garage did it. Tries to blame a locksmith. Police get warrants. Search his home, his car. In the car, they find a laptop. And on it, the deleted SK confession file, detailing everything. They also find a bloody knife. Bloodstains in the trunk. More investigation. Witnesses saw Johnny's red Mazda parked at the garage on October 14th. But Mark claimed he only bought the car for $40 on the 15th. Another lie exposed. Witnesses also saw Mark himself changing the lock on the garage. Faced with all this evidence, all the inconsistencies, Mark's story just crumbles. Police tell him, look, the DNA evidence is coming. It will prove it was you. And that's when he finally asks for a lawyer and shuts up. October 31st, 2008, Halloween. The DNA results come back. Blood in the garage, on the knife in the car trunk. It all belongs to Johnny Altinger. Irrefutable. They have everything they need to arrest him. They find Mark hiding out at his parents' house. Police set up this clever trick, pretend to be film investors wanting a meeting at a coffee shop. Mark shows up expecting a business meeting. They arrest him. Charged with first-degree murder. Premeditated. When Jessica learns about the arrest, the horrific charges, she immediately files for divorce, moves away with Chloe, gets a restraining order. Her entire life just destroyed. Now that SK confession file, it detailed how Mark got rid of Johnny's body parts in a storm drain. But it didn't say which one. For years, Mark refused to tell them where Johnny's remains were, causing just unimaginable pain for Johnny's family. The horror just dragged on for them. Finally, June 10th, 2011. Mark draws a spot on a map for the police. They go to the location, a large storm drain. They find human skeletal remains. DNA test confirmed. It's Johnny Altinger. April 12th, 2011, Mark Twitchell is convicted of first-degree murder, sentenced to life in prison, eligible for parole after 25 years.
This case, it's such a stark example of the really disturbing impact media can have, especially when someone maybe lacks critical thinking or has existing psychological issues. It just shows how a fictional narrative made purely for entertainment can be so tragically twisted into a real-world plan of action. It completely blurs that vital line between a story and, well, grim reality.
Yeah, and in December 2012, Michael C. Hall, the actor who played Dexter, he actually spoke about the Twitchell case. Said he was deeply disturbed that his character inspired something so horrific. Called it frightening. Said he tried to rationalize it as just human nature, but the Dexter connection itself was terrifying to him. So what does it all mean? The Mark Twitchell case, it's just this grim, chilling reminder, isn't it, about what can happen when fantasy bleeds into horrifying reality. This wasn't just a copycat crime. It was a deep dive into the mind of someone who tragically mistook fiction for fact with truly devastating results.
It's horrifying, the sheer power of an obsession to completely warp someone's moral compass like that, to lead to such unimaginable violence. And it raises a really important question, I think, for all of us. How do we, as individuals, as a society, keep a healthy perspective when we consume media? How do we make sure we separate entertainment from dangerous imitation, keep that line clear between fiction and reality?
It's a really unsettling thought to leave you with. A man who wanted fame through filmmaking, but found notoriety by directing his own real-life horror show instead. If you found this deep dive into, well, a truly chilling true crime case fascinating, please do hit that like button. Share this deep dive with your friends. And definitely subscribe to our channel, Horror Docs, for more unsettling stories from the depths of true crime. Until next time, please stay safe and keep exploring the depths with us.